Why do I feel like I look like Farmer John? Something about this Sheen hat. I feel like the bill's like mad big. Like, I like big bills, but not big bills. Hey guys, how's it going? It's your girl Raven. Thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. I love when girls like do their makeup, true crime. Like, I'm so much into Brittany Vaughn. Brittany Vaughn is my girl. Like, I feel like we are BFFs in real life. I stumbled across this girl. Her name is Danielle Christie. Hold on. Danielle Kirsty. Oh girl, I'm so sorry. I have never gotten into mama's videos. I don't know where she came from, but she just popped up and I'm like, oh, her little makeup is cute. But girl, she must have covered a true crime story of somebody from my little hometown, and I was like, she's about to give us some tea on somebody named Nico Jenkins. If you are from Omaha, Nebraska, I'm sure that name is like ringing bells. And if you're not familiar, then just stay tuned because we're going to cover whatever we cover in this video. I don't know if she's going to give his backstory. I don't know if she's going to give like more up-to-date things. I don't even know what's going on with him because I got tired of looking at his ass on the TV. I don't know what sis is up to, what he got going on, but we're about to get into it on today's video.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be covering Nico Jenkins, and there is definitely a fascination around this case, and I wanted to do the proper research to bring you the actual story of Nico Jenkins because, like I said, there's so much misinformation. Nico Jenkins was born on September 16th. He was a Virgo and he grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. He was actually born in Colorado. He witnessed a lot of violence.
We already get into a recipe for a disaster. What is that, the McDonald's triad or something, where you kind of have these like guidelines to determine if your child may or may not end up being a serial killer? And it's like wetting the bed, harming animals, something else. What's the third one? What is the third one? I don't know. If I find out, I'll leave it somewhere in this video.
And a lot of abuse himself between his parents and between different family members. Violence and abuse was just so normal in his life, in his childhood. His whole family has such an extensive criminal background. It's actually crazy. 38 of his descendants are convicted criminals.
Why did she got the whole clan up here? Okay, real quick. Here's the thing. This makes me think. We gonna watch the whole video. True crime stories where some people that you are talking about, some faces you showing, when those people are very much alive still, like, this girl's accent is giving me like she in the UK or something, but you ain't a little bit worried, sis, because not all of these people on this not all these people on this list have checked out. So I don't know, she looking a little bold to me because I sure wouldn't put none of their asses on the internet.
As you can imagine, it didn't really take Nico long to pick up on this behavior and start to exude this behavior himself. Heartbreaking when you think about it because he's only he's 8 years old when he's in therapy. He was also excessively wetting the bed, which his therapist put down to just anxiety and stress from his home life. And this was also the first time that Nico was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. And I can't help but feel sorry for him in his childhood. He didn't really have a childhood, and throughout his teenage years he was convicted of many different offences, which included arson, weapon charges and robbery, and because of this he was just in and out of juvie most of his teenage years. Out of his 10-year sentence, Nico spent 60% of his time in solitary confinement. I actually found this graph that I will put on the screen, and the red blocks show when Nico was in solitary confinement.
Girl, what was you supposed to do in there by yourself? Like, you can't have like no little playmate or nothing? Do they bring like prisoners puppies or some shit like in solitary confinement? Like anything? Like,
nobody should be in solitary confinement for that long, and you can see the red blocks, they're huge. They're not like one-off days or whatever, like he was in and out of solitary confinement. No, he was in solitary confinement for long periods of time, and he was in solitary confinement for a 2-year solid block before he was released out into the world. And actually coming up to Nico's release in 2013, 5 months before he was due to be released, he did undergo a psychological evaluation. Nico would also often have obsessive and racing thoughts. He was still hearing voices. Egyptian god Apophis. And Apophis would instruct Nico to harm others. But Apophis does come up again, so Take note of that. So knowing all of this, the authorities decide that Nico is ready to rejoin society and they release him in July of 2013 straight from solitary confinement. What makes it even worse is that Nico was released without any parole, without any supervision. He was just let out. Make that make sense. Nico himself even asked to not be released. He was asking for help over and over again. Did he receive help? No. Not that this is an excuse or anything, but Nico even said himself, if you let me out, I'm going to kill someone. So on the 30th of July, Nico was released and his family threw him a release party at a hotel. He was given a shotgun. That's a great present for somebody who's just been released from prison. And at this release party, Nico did gain a little bit of trouble with his girlfriend because what has been dubbed as the Nico cult arrived, and Nico was being inappropriate with these women, and his girlfriend wasn't happy about it. And they got into a little argument, which again, hold on to that thought because that plays a super crucial role later on in the story. Nico hatches up a plan, and when they arrive at the private location, Nico jumps out and he shoots both men in the head with the gun that he received as a gift. Because he didn't know these two men. There was no connection at all. So Nico just carries on living his life. And I mean really living his life. He's going to like loads of pies. So 8 days later, after the murder of Jorge and Juan, he's at another party. There's even a picture of them together at this party that was posted on Facebook. And they look pretty friendly. I know you can't always tell from a picture, but they look like they're kind of friends maybe. And they're both doing this like weird hand symbol. It could be a gang sign. I don't know. I'm not familiar with gang signs.
I would like to think that that was a gang sign. That is a gang sign. You can track it back to a Pathes, a girl, whatever. But she doing good though. She doing good so far. We made it halfway through the video. Well, kind of, sort of.
So Nico expresses to Curtis that he wants to commit some robberies. Nico seems to like telling everybody that he wants to commit robberies, and he seems to like to try and recruit people to like help him out here. So off they go to commit whatever robbery they're planning to commit. Get to the destination. I don't know what they were intending to rob, I don't know, but they got to their destination. They all get out of the car, and Erica basically ambushes Curtis and turns her gun on Curtis and shoots him once in the head. Anyway, Nico is just still out there living his life. So 2 days after the murder of Curtis, Lil Wayne comes to town. I know, random. I bet you weren't expecting Lil Wayne to pop up in this story, were you? No.
Lil Wayne came here like after 2009? That's news to me.
And Nico sees this as a business opportunity. He wants to essentially rob people that are coming out of the concert.
Ain't Lil Wayne's crowds usually like 18 and up? Obviously the up part, but I would just be thinking it's a lot of 18-year-olds. Like, well, you know what? Maybe he was thinking like the rich white kids that come out. And not to make nobody like, you know, just like a target. I'm just saying like...
However, Nico decides that he wants a different car to the car he has to do this. He wants a nicer car, a car that's going to like fit in with other cars, so he can go around robbing people inconspicuously. Where do they head? McDonald's. McDonald's comes up way too often in these cases that I cover.
What was that little spray that she got though? That spray looks cute.
Oh, that's a really nice mist. Nico, as far as I'm aware as well, he didn't actually commit any robberies that night. But on the 30th of August, Nico is arrested. But it has nothing to do with the murders. I know, I bet you were thinking, oh, he's been arrested on the murders. No. Remember the little fight he had with his girlfriend at his release party? Well, I'm not entirely sure when, but this little fight with Nico's girlfriend angered Nico so much that he threatened to kill his girlfriend. You can't just go around threatening to kill people. His girlfriend reported this because she was terrified for her life. She was terrified for her mom. And this is why the police arrested Nico, because of these threats. However, when he's in jail, the police start to think, maybe Nico is the one that we're looking for for these 4 murders.
Okay, that's nice that they came to that conclusion, but like, what was it exactly that made them come to this conclusion when there's a million and one people that they could have been checking for? You know what I'm saying? Like, what was it about him in particular? Is it because he's black? Is it because of his track record? Like, what was it about him? There wasn't anybody else with a similar profile that checked in at the same time. I just wonder what made them think, like, that's our guy, which obviously it was, but what made them, I don't know.
Just because they already had Nico in custody for something else, it was very easy for the police to just go and question Nico about these 4 murders. So that's what I'm assuming happened. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it? So on the 3rd of September, police go and interview Nico about the 4 murders. This interview lasts around 8 hours. There is so much footage of the interview on YouTube, not the full 8 hours, but there's a decent amount of footage available. And I've seen a lot of interviews of killers, serial killers and everything, and I've just never really seen anyone be in an interview like Nico was. But from my research, I've kind of figured out what happened. But I think Nico does at first deny the murders, deny that he had any involvement, like he doesn't know anything about it. He starts to say that he did commit the murders, but he only committed the murders because Apothis told him to. And then he changes his story again, and he says that he only committed the murders to get revenge on the correctional system because they should never have let him out. Which Nico, it's not an excuse. So he's basically just all over the place in the interview, and he's not taking any responsibility for the murders. He's trying to blame everyone and everything, and we really just don't know what the reason was for the murders, or maybe he was actually hearing Apothis in his head ordering these crimes. Or maybe there were revenge killings. With all of his ramblings, he basically does confess to the crimes, which is enough for the police to arrest him for the 4 murders. And Nico himself actually also writes to an Omaha newspaper in November of 2013, and in this letter he also confesses to the crimes. So while Nico is awaiting trial, wait for this, Nico files his own lawsuit for $24.5 million. He files this against the state of Nebraska because, again, he says that they should not have let him out and this could have been prevented. $24.5 million. Should that not really go to the victims' families?
How you gonna sue because somebody let you out and you went and killed? No. No.
Nico literally wrote this 6-page letter himself, and he says that he's not fit to stand trial because of his mental health issues. So a judge did order a psychological evaluation of Nico to see if he was fit to stand trial. And Nico has previously been diagnosed as schizophrenic, bipolar, and was also diagnosed with obsessive compulsive disorder. However, in the current evaluation, that was basically all just wiped and ignored. And they said that Nico was making all of this up, and what he really had was just antisocial personality disorder, which I agree with, he probably does have that as well. I get a little bit confused here because I don't know how he could have been making all of that up. Those were conditions that he was previously diagnosed with. He was diagnosed with them. He's not making them up. I'm not saying that he's not responsible for the murders. Of course I'm not saying that. He is responsible for the murders, but he's not making up his mental health issues. But I do have a little theory as to why I think the state or whoever, I do have a little theory of why they dismissed those mental health conditions, which I'll say in a minute. So Nico is deemed competent to stand trial and the trial goes ahead. And Nico actually decides to fire his whole defense team and represent himself, which he's allowed to do. And throughout the whole trial, he never denies the murders, but he just says that he's not responsible for them. And it is the Egyptian god Apothis that is to blame, and Apothis is ordering him to harm others. And that these killings were sacrifices. He then started to speak in what has been described as tongues, which I don't know what that is. I did try to look up. I wanted to actually see a video. I knew I wouldn't see a video of Nico, but I actually just wanted to see a video of anybody talking in tongues, but I couldn't find one. I'm just imagining parcel tongue in my head.
I just feel like growing up black, especially here, like you probably were in the church at some point against your will, most likely. That's just what the elders did, speaking in tongues. I remember my elder, my cousin, praying for me and speaking in tongues. And oh child, I would just put the phone down and walk away because I was a kid. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was coming up from her, and she was trying to pass it to me, and I didn't know what it was. So, you know, you just can't be passing any old thing over here. But now that I'm understanding the source, and it's like the Holy Spirit, but yeah, that's a whole nother video that will probably never happen on this channel. But I'm just saying, like, anyway.
On the 16th of April 2014, Nico was found guilty of all 4 murders. So now he just needs to be sentenced. Sentencing just keeps getting pushed back. And throughout these delays, I think this is where the fascination started to come about with Nico. This is when he started to make headlines all of the time. And I assume this is when probably most people heard about this case from what happens now. But basically he kept making headlines and there kept being delays because Nico kept self-mutilating. Firstly, he carved 666 into his forehead, but he didn't say 666 because he did it in a mirror and he didn't think about,
999. I definitely remember this though. I do remember seeing this kind of stuff all over the news. Yeah, just mutilating everything, yeah. I definitely remember this time period.
He also tried to carve Satan into his forehead, and he also sliced his tongue to resemble a snake, which required 9 stitches.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. Why would I do that? Okay, hold on, that was stupid. Okay, oh my god, my battery's dying. All right, we gotta hurry up and finish this. That was so dumb.
But then the final one, prepare yourself for this one. He took a razor and he tried to carve his penis to look like a snake.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe. No, but for real, like, that was, okay. We almost done. We almost to the end, because baby girl. The way my lady is just tightening up and it's like, no ma'am, no ma'am. Right now, my body is so tense. Cause I thought he had just like split it, but you talking about some carving to a razor, girl. I mean, not that splitting it was like just was any better, but he was trying to chisel it, girl. Like, he was trying to whittle it down into something. This just is not pottery. This is not pottery glass. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I cannot believe that he, okay. Oh, I should my mother about it.
And this required 27 stitches. It's been reported that Nico was self-mutilating to try and look insane because he wanted to avoid the death penalty. And that could be true, of course it could be, but there's no denying that he's struggling with his mental health. I'm sorry, but there is no denying that at all.
When you really think about it, how people just sit up there and kill people, but then they be terrified of the death penalty, and they just try to do anything to prolong their time. No, baby. Go ahead and walk your ass up to that gas chamber or whatever it is that they give you girls these days, and go ahead and just take your medicine. Like, you wasn't worried about that when you was blowing everybody off, when you was popping everybody upside the head. You wasn't worried about it, so don't worry about it now.
But in May 2017, yeah, there was delays for a very long time, considering he was convicted in 2014. In May 2017, he was sentenced to 450 years in prison and also for death penalties. A bit extreme. I don't know why the sentence was so long, but it was. And going back to my theory of why I think they dismissed his previously diagnosed mental health conditions is because I think they wanted Nico to get the death penalty. And he wouldn't have been able to get the death penalty if he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, bipolar or anything like that. So that's why I think they dismissed. I obviously have no proof of that. I just want to point that out very clearly. But that's my theory anyway. I saw a lot of things saying as well, because he was so self-aware, like he was saying like, I have these conditions, I have this, I have that, because he was very self-aware of his mental health. He couldn't have been suffering with his mental health. Sorry, I have to laugh sometimes at people's stupidity. In April 2020, the Supreme Court actually refused to hear Nico's appeal, and that was the 420-page document that I found. So yeah, I don't really know what's going on with Nico and his appeals, but the Supreme Court won't hear it. Now, I don't know about what any of you think, of course, let me know in the comments, but it is my opinion that the system completely failed in this case. It failed every single person involved. I 100% believe that if the system did what it was supposed to do, that these murders could have been prevented. In the Supreme Court appeal document that I found, there was a list of all of the times that Nico asked for help when he was in prison for the 10 years. I'll put it on the screen for you because it's actually unbelievable. But there are multiple times every single month for years that Nico was asking for help. This was before the murders happened. This was when he was in prison the first time. It's actually unbelievable. When I saw this document, my jaw literally hit the ground. I was like, what? He literally said 4 months before he was released that he doesn't want to be released because he was going to kill, cannibalize, and drink the blood of people. I just don't know how many times someone has to ask for help, but nobody listened to Nico. And I'm really not trying to make him a victim in this story, because at the end of the day, he took 4 innocent lives and he is responsible for that, and he should be punished for that. And I just think it's absolutely shocking. It's disgusting, actually, that they let Nico out straight from solitary confinement. I don't understand why he didn't have any parole either. No conditions, no supervision. I just don't know how many red flags the system needed to realize that Nico is dangerous and that he was basically a ticking time bomb. Nobody should be in solitary confinement for that long. It messes people up. And the media coverage of this case is so completely biased. It paints such an untrue narrative, doesn't highlight any of the failures at all. It just seems like to me that Nico was just a problem that the state wanted to get rid of, and no one could be bothered to deal with him or help him. So that is the true story of Nico Jenkins. Oh God, this case, it was a heavy one. Thank you for being patient with me on this, but I just wanted to make sure that I delivered the proper story of Nico Jenkins, because everything that I saw on YouTube and everything definitely doesn't tell the true story, and there is nothing that infuriates me more than misinformation being spread. Maybe it's the Libran in me, I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I can understand what she's talking about when she's like, the media kind of twisted the story about him and like what he did exactly with like his manhood, you know, like shaving into the snake, or did he cut it off, or these, but you know what I'm saying? Definitely have heard different stories. Wow. Okay, well that was interesting. All right, Danielle, you get a thumbs up in my book. You did a really good job at covering the story, and you definitely taught me a lot of things that I didn't know about, so thank you for that, girl. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you're always in the loop whenever your girl uploads a new video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.